morning. Thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for coming in. So, welcome back in to the morning motivation, man. Welcome back into the Monday. Welcome back into the morning motivation. This isn't just something that we do on Monday, but this is something that I am again going to consistently do every single day from 8:30 to 9 a.m. to ensure that you are getting everything that you need as it relates to the motivation that you need, as it relates to your mental, right? And so today, I want to talk about how to write a great dissertation. How I'm getting better at writing a great dissertation. And here's the thing, right? I know that you might not be going to school to get your PhD like I am, but I think you will understand the metaphor in which I am going to speak of how to write a good dissertation. And the reason that I'm choosing this metaphor is because it's something that relates to me, and I believe that it is in turn something that will also relate to each one of you. How to write a good dissertation, right? And here's the reason why I'm saying this is because there are steps and stages to doing everything. There are steps and stages to doing everything, and we cannot afford to skip the steps and stages. And I think sometimes what we want to do is we want to take the we want to take the quick route, but the quick route isn't the route that's going to make you appreciate the thing that you want the most, man. And so for me right now, what I want to do is I want to take some time to appreciate the route that I'm going down and the effort that I am putting in order to make this thing happen. So as you guys know, I'm in pursuit of my PhD, my doctoral degree. And in pursuing my PhD and pursuing this doctoral degree, one of the things that I've had to do is I've had to get back to learning how to write. And I think here's what's interesting. After taking a class and a course on how to write, I don't even think I was ever taught properly how to write. And as a result of not being taught properly how to write, I think I can see the relationship between my ability to compose thoughts and speak those thoughts. Because and not only that, right? Not only that, composing the thoughts, but composing the thoughts and be able to speak them, but also to be able to create content. What's interesting is that what's up, y'all? What's interesting is that in order, like the same way you create great content, they say you should have a hook, you should have a story with a message, and then you should have some sort of call to action. That's the same way that you should speak. When you speak, this is for my people that are speakers, right? When you speak, you should have a hook. This is the thing that draws them in. You should have a story. This is the thing that keeps them in. You should have a message. This is the what's in it for me moment. And then you should have some sort of call to action. This is the thing that is calling the people to action to move beyond what you said. So I'm gonna make all of this make sense. Not only does it teach you does good content teach you how to speak, but good content also teaches you how to write, because you use the same formula in writing. In writing, you use the same exact formula that you use in speaking, the same exact formula that you use in creating content. So if you want to learn how to create good content, you're going to learn how to speak well. If you're going to learn how to speak well, you're going to learn how to write well. You're going to want to learn how to write well. And this, I'm telling y'all, this is something I found out, and this was just genius. And so if you want to have if you want to write a good paper, you should have a thesis, which summarizes, which is your hook. Then you need to have body paragraphs, which is your stories. And then each one of those stories, how do you make how do you elongate your paper, is essentially you're going to give different examples of pros and cons, depending on if you're writing an argumentative essay or a supportive essay. Y'all, again, this is all news to me, right? This is all news to me. But wherever you're writing, it's following the same format that you would be following when you're speaking or when you're creating content. And so I'm learning this. And the idea behind going back to school and completing this dissertation, the whole idea behind it is you have to write this dissertation so that you can be so that your dissertation can be documented as proof that you have completed your PhD program. Not like some people who don't have any documented proof that they ever completed a PhD program. All right. You want to make sure that you have proof. Thank y'all for the follow, man. I appreciate y'all so much over on TikTok. You want to have proof, documented proof that you have completed your dissertation program. All right. You need to make sure that the work that you're doing is documented and it's provable. I don't trust all of these people who went out here and got these honorary doctoral degrees calling themselves doctor. You need to be like an alternative doctor, right? It's like I'm an alternative doctor, but that's neither here nor there. And so I'm nervous about writing this 100-page dissertation, but just like anything, right? How do you eat an elephant? How do you clean a big house? One room at a time. If you want to clean a big house, you don't clean the whole house at one time. No, you start in one room. You start in the kitchen, and then you start at the sink, and then you move to the counter, and then you move to the stove, and then you move to the refrigerator, and then finally you clean it all up by doing the floors, right? If you want to learn how to clean a big house, like you got to be able to break these things down, and that's the same way that I think that you need to break down your life, right? The same way that I'm breaking down this dissertation is the same way that we can break down the things that we want to accomplish in here. What's up, Miss Queen? The same way that I'm breaking this down, you can break this down in your life as well. If you want to accomplish something, the best thing that you can do is break it down into smaller pieces, but understand the overall goal and you accomplishing the overall goal. So I'm writing this 100-page dissertation. In order to get better at writing this 100-page dissertation, what I need to do is I need to learn how to write one page very well. In order to learn how to write one page very well, I need to learn how to write a great paragraph. Because essentially, if I write enough pages, I'll get to a 100-page dissertation. Essentially, if I write enough paragraphs, I'll get to one page. I need to learn how to write one great sentence, and not just a sentence that is structured one way, but there are multiple types of sentences. I didn't know. I wasn't aware that there were multiple types of sentences. I just thought everything was a sentence. No, there's a compound sentence, and although there's different ways that you can start a sentence. You can start a sentence with a negative and then switch to a positive, or a positive and then switch to a negative. There's different ways. I needed to learn how to write a good sentence, but even more than that, I needed to increase my vocabulary. So in order to write this 100-page dissertation, what I am doing is I'm learning how to write good sentences every single day. I'm posting on Threads, and I'm answering tough questions. And sometimes I don't get it right. And sometimes I don't say it the way that I want to. And sometimes I have to go back and I have to edit what I wrote on Threads. But in order to get to this 100-page dissertation, I've got to get better at just writing a sentence, because you can't write a 100-page dissertation at one time. You can't just write it all you can't just write it in one fell swoop. It just doesn't work like that. No, you need to learn how to write the sentence, complete the thought, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever it is that you have a desire to accomplish, I want you to think of it as breaking it down into smaller pieces that you can manage, that will ultimately lead you to your overall goal. And that's the reason why I'm saying to you, you need to write your dissertation, and your dissertation doesn't have to look like mine. It doesn't look like mine, and that's okay. You're not writing an actual dissertation, but there's something that you want to accomplish and that you want to achieve in your life for your success. If you want to accomplish and you want to achieve that thing, the best thing that you are going to do to help you accomplish that thing is break that thing down into manageable pieces. Can you break it down into manageable pieces? I've broken it down to where if I just increase my vocabulary, then I'll be able to increase my sentences, my sentence structure. If I learn sentence structure, I'll be able to increase my ability to write great paragraphs. If I increase my ability to write great paragraphs, I will increase my ability to write great pages. If I increase my ability to write great pages, I will increase my ability to write a 100-page dissertation that will be documented proof that I have been able to successfully complete the requirements to earn my PhD in social emotional learning. I'm truly excited about this. And the reason that I'm excited about this journey is because this is like I will be the first doctor in my family that I am. What my cousin has an ED, which is different than a PhD. A PhD is more on the philosophy side. The ED is more on the practical side. Again, that's another thing that I learned, right? Like I didn't know that I didn't know what the difference was. I knew that there was a difference between the ED and the PhD, but I didn't know what the difference was between the ED and the PhD. So the PhD is more on the philosophy side. Basically, you come up with different theories and philosophies, and the ED are the people that implement those philosophies, and they've become masters at implementing what has been philosophized, one of those two on the PhD level. So doesn't matter what you want to do. I just want to encourage you to break that thing down the same way that you would break down into a dissertation. All right. So let's continue. One of my favorite stories is a story about learned helplessness, and I think there are many youth that we that I run into who subconsciously suffer from learned helplessness. And I wrote about this in a poem, and a very controversial poem that I wrote, where I talked about woke people. I talked about people that are extremely woke, and I just don't understand woke people in a woke culture, right? And so one of the things that's interesting to me is that learned helplessness and the woke culture. Let's get into it. Learned helplessness and the woke culture. Okay, so some people will tell you, yo, the system is so rigged that they don't want to see, like, the system is designed for you to fail. So if you don't make it ever, then that's a good enough reason. Is that you weren't supposed to make it because the system is designed for people like you not to make it. And I believe that is a defeatist mentality that is keeping a lot of people stuck in their position. If you're going into something already believing that you have no opportunity to win at this thing, then chances are you're not going to put in the energy and effort required to do what's required to win. There's no sense in going into competition believing and thinking that you're going to win if you're already told from a young age subconsciously that you can't win at this game. If I'm born and I'm already told that, yo, you will never make it to being wealthy, you will never change your life or anybody else's life in your family, you will never be able to achieve generational wealth. Too many of our kids have this belief that society doesn't want them to win, that they can't win, and as a result, they are producing lackluster behavior, lackluster effort, and we wonder why. It's because society tells youth that you can't do something. Even so, you guys know I've been recording a reality TV show, and I can't really talk much about it, but there's one kid there, and he said he wanted to be a professional athlete. Now, growing up, what we heard about being a professional athlete was you'll never be a professional athlete. There aren't that many people that make it. Don't think that you're going to be one of the ones that make it, which is a defeatist mentality, which is a mentality that says no matter how hard I try, I will never, ever win at this thing. When in actuality, there are people who actually win at this thing. So what I did was I called the young man, right? I called him to his greatness. And I think what happens is we try to push people away from their greatness and tell them that it's impossible. I don't want to tell anybody that it's impossible, but I do want you to understand that it's impossible if you continue to be the way that you are. If you're telling me that you want to be a professional athlete, you have to start being a professional athlete like right now. You don't become a professional athlete when you become a professional athlete. If you look at the kid AJ DeBonsta and just look at how poised he was when he was the #1 draft pick last night in the NBA draft to the Washington Wizards. Shout out to him. I'm looking forward to going to some Washington Wizards games this year and seeing them play significantly better than they've played in the past. But if you look at him, he's been a professional since he's about 13 years old. He says, since 13 years old, I've had the camera in my face. Since 13 years old, I've had this pressure of being great, of having to do things for my family, and knowing that I was going to be the one that was going to get my family and change them into generational wealth, right? You don't just become a professional after you walk across the stage. You don't just become a professional when you get that first NIL deal. You got to be moving like a professional in every single thing that you do. So when we're at the mansion and we're having these conversations and you over there laughing and snickering and do you think that this is something that a professional would be doing? If Steph Curry, if Kyrie Irving, if James Harden, your favorite the mentors that you look up to, your favorite players, if they were in a meeting and someone was getting reprimanded in a meeting, do you think that they would be laughing right now? The answer every single time is absolutely no. So if you know that they wouldn't be laughing, why are you not acting and behaving as the professional that you say that you want to be? If you want to be a professional, you don't just get to be you're not just a professional on the days you feel like being a professional. You are a professional every single time you step out the door. You need to know what you represent. A lady at JP Chase Morgan Bank, just got fired from JP Chase Morgan Bank while she was off the job. You know why? Because she was a representation of JP Chase Morgan Bank, and her behaviors outside of work, what she did caused her to get fired. She's a professional. You got to know what you represent. She stole a trash can from New York City. She stole a trash can from New York City when the New York Knicks won the NBA title. She took the trash. She dumped all of the trash out on a New York street. She took the trash can, rode the subway home, and she's on camera, on video. They got a big giant picture of her just dumping the trash can. And now she's at home, right? Like, listen, you got to understand that you are a professional everywhere that you go. So this young man says he wants to be a professional. Okay, cool. I'm going to start treating you like a professional now. This is how we as parents, as mentors, as adults need to operate around kids who want to be professionals. Do you think that this is something that a professional would be doing? If the answer is no, I don't understand why you're doing it. What's up, Jonathan? If the answer is no, I don't understand why you're doing it. Because you need to be a professional. What type of professional are you trying to be? Are you trying to be the bum professional? Are you trying to be the professional that just gets there and now you're just happy that you made it? No, we're not trying to do that, man. I'm trying to be the LeBron professional where I can get my kids into the league and they not even be ready to get into the league. Like that's the kind of professional that I'm trying to be, right? I want my kids to be able to have the ability to say, I got here because of nepotism. Many of us can't say that we got here because of nepotism because our parents just don't have it like that. But you can be one of the ones that creates generational wealth and creates opportunities for your family outside of what they might be able to do. So he told me he wanted to be a professional. I said, okay, you want to be a professional? I said, how often do you work out? I said, first of all, do you know how long it takes for you to master a skill, to become a master of something? How long do you think it usually takes for somebody to do that? And we had to look it up and we say, hey, Siri, how long does it take to master a skill? And Siri will tell you, and it'll bring up the book. It's going to take you 10,000 hours in order for you to master a skill. Okay, great. How long have you been playing? How long have you been playing basketball? Okay. How long have you been playing basketball? Oh, well, let me ask this, right? How many hours a day do you practice? He says, I practice 4 hours a day, which I know is a complete lie. Like, no, number one, you're already lying to yourself, right? because you're giving yourself way more credit for what you're doing that you're not doing. So, but he says, I practice 4 hours a day. Okay, cool. You practice 4 hours a day. How many days a week? He says 7 days a week. So you practice for 4 hours, a whole half a work day, 7 days a week. Okay, so 4 times 7, we're going to call it 28, right? Right now, you are 15 years old. You can go pro in the NBA at 19 years old. Okay, so if you multiply this, right, 28 times a week, we're going to multiply that by 52. That's going to get you 1,400 hours, right? But you can go pro in the NBA and just 4 more years. So you're going to multiply that number times 4, right? 1446 times 4, right? Which is going to get you to 5,800 hours. What you're also going to do is you're going to take the additional 2 years, right? So you're going to add plus 1456 plus 1456. Again, you're now at 8,736 hours. You're at 8,736 hours. Did you become a pro at the time that you can become a pro as a professional in professional basketball? No, you did not become a pro because you did not hit your 10,000 hours. And let's be even more honest, bro, you're not practicing for 4 hours a day. Realistically, you're probably practicing an hour and a half. You're probably like an intentional practice. Like, and that's the thing, is that when kids go to the gym, they have to intentional practice. There's no sense in going to the gym without having a game plan. Because what are we doing? Just getting up shots? That's dumb. That's stupid. That's wasted time. That's wasted energy, wasted effort. That's wasted gym space. Don't just go to the gym, go to the field and practice without having a game plan. But you realistically probably practice for an hour and a half a day. And at the most, probably 4 days a week, which is going to be 6 hours per week. Multiply that times 52. That's going to be 312 hours every single year. Multiply that times the 4 years and then plus the other 2, so 6 total. That's 1,800 hours. This is probably more realistic to what he's doing, because after that, he went out and he practiced on his own, but he was only out there for like an hour. He's only out there for like an hour, because here's the thing. Once you get tired, there's no one there's no one that's there that's pushing you further than you believe your body can go. No, because I mean, when it's just you working out, who's going to push you? Who's going to push you further? Nobody's going to push you further. If you don't got that innate dog in you, like if you're not hungry, if you're not starving, if your parents are giving you everything that you want, they're not birthing no dog in you. If your parents aren't creating any sort of a drive, they're not creating any sort of animosity, they're not creating any sort of urgency within you, you're not going to have that, because once you get uncomfortable and you tired, guess what you're going to do? You're going to quit and you're going to just give up. And that's not what a professional does. Even when the professional wants to give up, what they got a coach. That's why they got a coach there. That's why they got like, nah, come on, yo, woman. That's why they working out with other people who are professionals. You working out with other people who are not on the same thing that you're on, and then you wondering why you can't get to where you're trying to get to, because you can't be a professional working amateur hours. And you around other amateurs and other people who think and work and execute like amateurs, and you get the amateur result, and then you wonder why you get an amateur result. It's because it's because your environment will change you before you change it. I guarantee you that. Your environment will change you long before you change it. Your environment is going to suck you in, and it's going to bleed you dry, and it's going to make you comfortable, and it's going to not make you want to push hard. It's going to not make you want to execute at a high level. But you listen, if y'all know anything about In My Bag and what the In My Bag brand stands for, it's executing at a high level, completely focused in your zone, and operating in excellence. This is what In My Bag means. In My Bag isn't just some monetary thing where you getting money and you doing your thing out there getting money. Yeah, it's nice. Everybody is going to get money at some point in time in their life, right? It's easy. It's easy to make money, but it's even harder to keep it, right? So you got to ask yourself, are you around people that's in their bag? Are you around people that help you get in your bag? When a kid comes to you and they say, I want to be a professional, when your friends come to you and say, I want to be a professional, your initial thought should be, how can I help them be a professional? What can I instill in them to ensure that they understand what it takes to be a professional? Too many kids think that it's easy because people make it look easy. People make it look like they just go on the court and they just put up shots and they're good and this is just their genes. And it's not just their genes. It's not as easy as they are making it look. It is very difficult. And I tell kids all the time, I'm 36 years old. If you can't beat me in one-on-one and by a huge margin, bro, you will never make it. You will never, you listen, you will never make it. If you can't beat me one-on-one, please do not think that you are going to be a professional. Because I listen, I believe if you ask me, I'm going to say I'll bust every professional's ass one-on-one, but I know dang sure in order to do that, it will take an act of God in order for me to do that. And if you can't beat me one-on-one, there's no way that you are going to go on a professional basketball court and beat anybody. And then if you can beat me, I'll just send my older brother. I'm like, okay, you beat me. Now I want you to beat him. Right? It's like it's levels to this, right? It's like it's like the Pokemon League. Like that first Brock was the easiest gym leader in the world to beat. Misty, she was easy, but when you got to that 8th badge, man, your Pokemon had to be right. Your skills got to be right. You got to know what you're doing when you get to that 8th gym leader. Listen, when you get to that professional level, you got to have a bag. You can't just be out here lollygagging around and just thinking that you just going, you know what I'm saying, cute your little way into a win. That's not how it work, player. That's not how it work, man. That is not how it works. I want you to be a professional. I want you to have the things that you want in life. I also need you to understand that it's going to take a lot of work from you. And if you're willing to put that work, do yourself a favor and hit that follow button. Remember, I'm going to be here every single morning from 8:30 to 9 p.m. I'm going to be giving you your morning motivation. I'm going to be putting that battery in your backpack for the day so that you can start your day on the right foot. Remember, being in your bag is more than just monetary. Being in your bag is being focused, completely focused in your zone, operating in excellence, and executing at a high level. I'm your favorite cousin backpack man. Send this to somebody so that they can join me tomorrow as we do this again. I'm going to be here every single weekday mornings from 8:30 to 9 a.m. giving you that giving you that morning motivation, putting that battery in your back so that you can execute at a high level. I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 8:30 sharp. Make sure you here, 8:30 sharp. I'll see y'all tomorrow.